Today is Wednesday, December 20th, 2017. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of the finale of Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers.
Yes, we're almost at the point where we don't have to say that very long title anymore. It's a few more times. Okay, this episode was titled $1 Million Night, and then it was followed by the reunion show, which we will henceforth refer to as the recap show, because it wasn't much about reuniting at all, other than physically. All right, we'll get to that shortly. Probst reminds us that 17 years ago, the greatest show on TV was started. That's me paraphrasing a little about greatest show on TV, but we started out with 3 tribes with lots of secrets, except no one could keep a secret but Ben.
That's true.
35 days ago, a secret advantage was discovered. It was about the super idol. It was shared, but the best laid plans failed with the best kept secrets. It's a battle to the end. Ben has played a bold and aggressive game, which has labeled him as an enemy. Mike, the only healer left, Probst tells us, was excluded in nearly every single vote.
And Mike saying on day 37, I'm going to win.
I'm going to win. Still here on day 37. That's rough. That's rough.
And Devin's advantage was used against him.
He has hustled and controlled and orchestrated, and now he tells us in his confessional that he's seeing his destiny unfold, at which point I substituted the word density. He's seeing his density unfold. A little Back to the Future twist there. Okay, and Ryan has played a social game, and he's had an alliance with Chrissy. There you go. That about sums it up for little Ryan.
Well, what about Chrissy? She's the only woman left.
She had a rough start up on the puke platform, but then she got control of her nerves. She saved herself, and she fought really hard. Yes, and the only woman left.
All right, night 36, back from Tribal.
Mike thanks them for saving him. Yeah, I don't know that had anything to do with that, but Mike being out of sync with things is pretty much on par. So there we go. And Ben takes off.
Yeah, immediately.
Get to getting. That's Ben's motto, right? So he didn't offer to fetch any water for anyone. He just had work to do.
And Devin tells us there can't be another idol.
After just going through that,
man,
what a bunch of knuckleheads. Like all 4 of them.
Play idols to final 5. Final 5. And you know Ryan knows that. And Chrissy, too.
Absolutely, they know it. These are people making the choice not to do the work.
They don't want to do it, and they're tired. And
that's it. So therefore, it can't happen.
And I think they feel safe because they can still get rid of Mike.
Well, there is that.
So,
but Mike ain't feeling it either. He's just as sure as the rest of them. He tells us that he doesn't need the million, but he wants to. He does want to win, and we'll get Ben out tomorrow.
And that Ben is like a bad horror movie. You can't kill him.
Yeah, he keeps coming. Bad horror movie villain who keeps coming back. You can't get rid of him. Yeah, that was a good line. I like that.
I really hate it when people say, I don't need the money. I'm just here I want the title, this and that. I don't need the money. My first and immediate thought is, I'd much rather give it to someone that does need the money.
Yeah, okay.
That's just how I feel about it. If I ever heard anybody say...
So monetary need is more significant for you. You got someone who's played a fantastic game, someone who's played a horrible game,
no, I'm not
but they
saying
need
that.
the money, and this other person who's played a magnificent game but doesn't need the money.
You're going to extremes again.
To make a point.
As usual.
To make a point.
Yes. Well,
I'm seeing what the boundaries of your condition is.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't ever know that unless I was in the situation, would we? You know what you think he would do,
Okay.
but you don't know what you would
All right,
do.
that's a cop-out. Let's move on.
It's the truth.
Ben's at the well.
Poll the jury. It's the truth.
He's getting water, and he realizes that no one's followed him.
Even he thinks they're nuts.
Yeah, they're going to sleep.
Like, why aren't they following me?
He tells us he is on a mission. He's going to keep searching. Search through the night. And he absolutely makes good on his word.
I felt so bad for him when morning was coming, and he just looked like he was
Defeated.
and he just couldn't hardly even
Exhausted.
go. I can't even imagine, preparing for a challenge the next day when you got no sleep. But it all pays off. I mean, that's so weird. He lay down there by that and went, whoa.
And
hello.
And it fit the pattern, too, because he's worried that he's let his wife down. And bingo, upon invoking the wife, here's a clue.
There it is.
For an immunity
Here, honey,
idol. Yes.
Let me tell you where it. Look over
Right.
here.
She's sending him a message. You're tired. Go lay down right over here.
He finds idol number 3.
Sits down beside it. So the clue's painted on the raft, and bingo, he's in business again, which we were ecstatic.
So Ben finds the idol so he can drop another Ben bomb at the next tribal council.
Ryan, Devin, Chrissy, and Mike think they're in control. Definitely, that prompted a question for me too. I was wondering if he got any good, if he was able to get some good rest after finding it there.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I'd be too excited probably to sleep, but I think probably as tired as he was after searching all night all around the island that, he would be tired enough to get some Z's.
Well, when Devin wakes up and he goes to start the fire, he sees Ben awake, laying in the shelter. So I'm not sure if he got any sleep. It wasn't much. Devin says good morning to Chrissy, but we don't see him acknowledge Ben. Chrissy tells us that she's going to approach Ben and try to be friends again, for strategic reasons, of course.
Yes, that their relationship is very complex.
I wonder what it's like to be on the receiving end of one of those conversations from Chrissy, because I think going back to the one with Rourke, it seemed so fake, and everyone who's commented on having one of those discussions with her has made it, at least for them, it was transparent. Exactly what she was up to.
Well, I think Ben knew too, of course.
Well, he tells us he did.
But
yeah.
he was playing it very well. Of course, he said, well, sure. But then she pushes it and said, how would you feel if you win? How would you feel about the best players going to He's like, oh, Chrissy.
Now, I was a little confused if that was him talking in the confessional or if that was him talking to her. Because he made that comment, that response, I don't know, would you take me? And Chrissy leaves it. We do see Chrissy saying to him that it's something to think about. But if he asked her that question and she didn't answer, I think that's done. It's over at that point, right?
Well, he did say
I don't know, would you take me?
The confessional then that she's his biggest competitor. And if he's going to play the idol and blindside her.
Right.
So at this point, you were completely Chrissy's going home.
Yeah, I thought that might be a possibility.
Well, definitely it was a possibility, but in this game with all the twists and turns, nothing's final till
That's
it
not who I
actually
chose
is
for
complete.
my JSFL picks, though.
No, it isn't. You chose well. I did not.
For the first one, I did,
Yep.
yes.
You chose Mike.
Okay.
I chose Devin.
For the immunity challenge, I like this challenge. They've got to swim, then they've got to climb up and jump, and grab the
Balance,
keys, and then balance.
Ryan couldn't balance.
Balance beam. Yeah, he proved once again he can't balance, and they go across a balance beam to get some more keys, and then they get the puzzle pieces, and unlock the colored balls.
They don't get the puzzle pieces; they get keys to unlock the balls.
Right. So you got a wheel, and there's slots with colored balls in it, and they got to spin it around. And so you were saying you got to start with the bottom color and look and start filling them in
one
correctly.
of those, and get them. I'm sure it wasn't easy. It was a difficult challenge, but doable. I'm not quite sure how Ryan and Devin got so off, but.
And it's a combo. There's also going to be reward. Probst tells them comfort food. Chicken and mashed taters and veggies and some cheesecake.
I'm sure that sound divine. Any food out there would be.
They all started off pretty good. They swam out, got up there, leaped, and they were all able to get their keys, the first set of keys on the first jump. That was cool. And Mike surprised us. He was first across with the second set of keys.
Well, even Devin fell off the balance and had to go back. And
After
Ryan
he got
fell
the keys,
twice.
right? Yeah. I bet you he fell more than that.
Well, we saw it twice. So
yeah, Devin and Mike get the puzzle unlocked, and they start working on it. And Ryan ends up last, and then Chrissy's on it, so she's churning away. And Probst tells us this is a new puzzle. I didn't remember seeing it before, but I did like the structure of it. Something that you could quickly understand the structure of, but it takes some work and some planning, and you got to be thinking a couple of moves ahead. That seems like the makings of a good puzzle, plus a really tough puzzle at this stage in the game. Chrissy did phenomenal. Came from behind and won again. Her third win, Probst tells us. She only needs one more to tie the record for the women at 4.
And she chooses Dr. Mike and Devin. Were you surprised she didn't take Ryan?
Yep, with how Ryan looks, yes.
Okay, well, I was and I wasn't. I thought she didn't take Ryan because they badly want to beat Ben in the next one, and Ryan doesn't have a chance whether you feed him or you don't.
Right.
And so, or at least we thought he didn't have a chance.
From a pragmatic point of view.
I think that's why she thought Devin and Mike have a better chance. Let's feed them, get them some energy, so hopefully one of the three of us can beat him. And then it was almost Ryan. But anyway, I jump ahead.
On to the reward. I like that Dr. Mike was thinking, saying, hey, let's check for a clue to the idol.
Yep.
Of course, there's
To no
nothing
avail,
there. Yeah.
But, okay.
And then
At least they
Chrissy
looked.
commits a survivor sin. Cheers to us for making the final 4. Celebrating early.
Well, no, she said, we're
Counting
the
those
final
chickens
3.
before they're hatched.
Ryan final 4.
Yeah.
But she said, we're final 3.
And they declare that there is no possibility that Ben finds the idol. And they tell us that Ryan is on babysitting duty.
Yeah, right.
And then this is where they hatch the plan to use the defunct super idol.
Do you think it was wise of Chrissy to tell? I mean, I think Devin might have known, Devin and Ryan, but to tell Mike?
Yeah. What's it going to hurt you? Mike's out of the loop all the time. You can. I don't think it hurts you.
I
think
hate
it hurts
to give
you.
anybody that information.
It hurts you more to have him find out later, or to find out in the moment at tribal council.
Well, he jumped on it and said, "Wait,
That's the best plan.
Yeah.
Best plan ever to fake out Ben. Get him to stop looking.
Well, and once again, Ben completely convinced them that he bought it. Ryan's like, man, he bought that hook, line, and sinker. And then they flash over to Ben. He's like, fake idol.
Yeah. Chrissy's is, it'll come up again, but Chrissy is a bit arrogant here. Don't use too much energy. I've had a 2 for day.
Looking for it, because I've already found it.
Yeah.
Why would he give up?
I like that he was mocking her a little. I have to admit that. I would probably do something similar. And he rightly tells us that he's been one step ahead of them the whole game, which, from what we've been given in the edit, is absolutely the case. He tells us he's got to figure out who he can beat tomorrow, Mike or Devin.
And that one has to go home because, again, Ryan's safe because he's not a threat. His name doesn't come up. He's not a threat. He's not going to win anything.
He's not a threat to win anything. I think you just summed up his whole Survivor season.
Oh, poor baby.
Poor Ryan. Bless his heart. His little beating heart.
That was freaky, though. Okay. So he tells
Pivotal
us
moment.
Devin or Mike.
Pivotal moment here with Devin. Devin's like, I know you're bummed out, Ben. Ben says, well, at least I get to eat tonight.
I think Ben overplayed that.
He overacted a little finally.
He overplayed that, and it clued Devin in.
Devin tells us that he got a weird vibe just then from Ben, and it's not like Ben to act defeated.
And even though it might cost him, with Mike, he tells Ryan, I'm
thinking
gonna
about
vote
putting
for
Doc's
Mike.
name down. Yeah.
Ryan says right off, no. He's not going to do it.
Nope. Ryan's not.
He's not going to do it.
They're worried it's going to Ryan's is worried it's going to upset Mike, and then Devin's rightly asked, do you think it'll lose me the final 3? So I really love this segment because you got to see how he's weighing the different implications and trying to make his decision. and we cut to Probst in the audience. So this was another finale where we get Probst out working the audience again. Maybe he's having designs on another talk show. What do you think? He'd seemed to back off from that for a while.
I don't know.
But he's back out there. He's asking this, somewhat random couple, I guess, what they would do in Devin's shoes. And I'm assuming it was the wife, right? The woman basically says right off, go with your gut. And basically depend on your intuition in a situation like this. And we're left not sure what Devin's going to do. So I really liked this part of the finale here.
Oh, I didn't care what they had to say.
No, I meant that the struggle that Devin had. Yeah, I don't care. I didn't care about this either.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a nice twist.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I wish Ben hadn't, But how do you not? How do you keep all that in when he's so excited that he's got another one?
Yep.
And he knows it, and he's trying to keep everything, but he's
been doing that all along.
Sleep, lack of everything, and just so I think he let that slip just a little for Devin to pick up, and good on Devin for picking that up.
And I enjoyed the struggle and getting to see how Devin was wrestling with it and coming to a decision.
I wish they had shown us, if Mike had said told Ryan he was going to vote Devin, I wish they'd shown that too.
Yeah, that would have made it even more tense, wouldn't it? Yep.
Or at least...
Of course, like a lot of things, they choose not to show us it because it doesn't have a bearing on the outcome. Yeah.
Okay.
Devin tells us that Ben is the common enemy, and he's definitely out to play. And he's an in-your-face kind of player as he's mulling over the decision he needs to make. Chrissy tells us they can't babysit Ben 24 hours a day, searches all night.
Well, they could. They choose not to.
Yeah, that's the truth.
I mean, there's 4 of them. Yeah, they could. They'd have to do it in shifts, but yeah, they could.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they could stop
They didn't want to, like you said. That's the bottom line.
Well, yeah, they didn't want to, and they didn't really feel a need to. They felt secure enough, I guess. And, okay, that too was a choice.
Yep, so they spring their trap here, right?
So, tribal council, everybody knows who the target is. They're all open about that. He's the common enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Gracie tells us she found a clue and dug up an idol, and she's going to give it to someone tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't need it. I have the necklace. So I think she's just playing to the jury at this point.
How do you think she was doing? Granted, we had the omniscient view of things, but how did you think that she played everything? Is it on the same level as how Ben was able to manage his acts?
I don't know if it was as believable, but I think she did fine.
Ben wasn't having any of it, though, right?
Yeah. She was gloating. Dev's like, no, she was very graceful about it.
Yeah, Devin says she was graceful. Ben says, no. You told me not to waste my energy.
Well, and Ben continues the ruse with, these 4 ruined my dreams for my family. And so he's still trying to play it up. And Ryan said Ben destroyed his game.
Yeah. I did like that part about how Ryan was giving his assessment of the events as he saw them. Maybe you shouldn't do that, I guess. Maybe that could come back to hurt you a little bit, acknowledging how well someone else is playing. But Ryan did a good job of acknowledging that all the way through the season, I thought. At least, especially at the very end. He kept being just blown away by what Ben was able to pull off.
Well, as a fan, come on, how do you... It would, you don't want it to happen to you, but it's still impressive if you're a true fan.
And he didn't just leave it at that. Ryan went on to say that he had to retool his game. So he's basically saying, look, Ben caused me to improvise and adapt, and we're about to overcome is where he summed it up, because we've got the numbers this time, and that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. And then brought up until Ben plays his idol again.
And we get to see Devin still struggling with his decision as he goes to cast his vote. Yeah. And then here comes another Ben bomb. Very nice.
The jury seemed to be quite enjoying it.
Yeah, definitely.
And they
He's putting on the show.
Floored.
Yep. Ryan was too. He didn't hold back. He goes, this guy's insane. Yeah.
And Ben tells us, well, if they're going to play fake idols, I'm going to wear mine. Do you think Mike would have gone up to play that idol if Ben hadn't pulled his out and the game was up?
No.
Because Ryan's like, nah, I don't need it.
And Mike was just holding it, I think.
Mike was like, yeah, I want it.
Sure, he's getting a souvenir.
And then Ben just pops up with the other. So,
right.
But I just wondered, that didn't seem to play out well if he would have gone up and tried to play it. And
why would he have wasted?
I don't know why he would do that, but
no, he was just like, hey, Jay, that's a cool souvenir.
Ben's vote against him.
So we get 3 votes for Ben that do not count. See the 1 vote for Mike, and then we see the vote for Devin. So we get a Mike and Devin tie. And Mike immediately turns to Devin and asks, did you write my name? Devin says, yes. Yes, I did. Yeah.
Just in case this should happen.
Ben turns to Devin and says, now your fate's with those 2. Okay, and on the revote, we get 1 vote for Devin and 2 for Mike, and Mike is out.
So Ben really wanted
Bye-bye,
Devin.
Dr. Mike. Yeah.
But the other 2 chose Mike to go. So, not going to win, Mike. Sorry.
I was pretty happy at this point. I had Dr. Mike first to go. My plan
me not so much.
is working.
I had Devin to go.
Yeah.
So, I was like, well, shoot.
I was surprised when you said Devin
5.
to go first, but then when all this went down, I thought, how about that?
Well, the reason
we
I
were
did
right
that
on the page.
was because I thought that they would see him if Ben won immunity, they would see Devin as the next biggest challenge threat and would want him gone.
Okay.
Because Mike's not much of a threat.
Neither was Devin.
And
it's a hard call between the 3 of them.
Yeah. I don't know. That was my reason.
The only one who's really come close, I guess. That's Dr. Mike's been in the hunt on the puzzle, but not really close from what we were shown. Devin says to Mike as he's headed out, well, you lived your dream. So Mike's gracious. Good luck to everyone on his way out.
And Jeff tells us there's a twist in the final challenge tomorrow.
Yeah.
So worry about that all night.
Yeah, exactly. Go get some rest. You jerk. Mike tells us he's happy he made 37 days. And now...
But if I'd have made the final 3, I would have won.
Yes, well, the delusion never ends, right?
I wish Jeff had polled that for Mike.
Well, Mike got his moment. Probst brings him out at that point as he's there with the audience. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Mike gets his moment in the spotlight.
And that's when he tells us, I told Ryan I was going to vote for Devin.
Yeah.
And if he had, Devin would have gone home and he would not have.
Yeah. Well, Probst doesn't let that slide. He throws it right back at him, too.
Mm-hmm.
Devin made the big move, Probst tells Dr. Mike.
You didn't, and that's why you're here, and he's not.
Did you bring him out just to kick some man while he was down? What's that about, Probst?
It's like, well, couldn't miss an opportunity.
Mike tells us that, yes, he does indeed have a dream life, but he really needed to play Survivor. So he got to live out that dream, too.
I am happy that he got to do that.
Yeah. Probst isn't done kicking him, though. He makes a Ben bomb on him while he's got him out there in front of the audience. Goodness. All right. Well, he got his moment, and he got to hear people cheer for him in front of the audience. That was good. Night 37 after Tribal Council, Devin tells us that it shocked everyone again. Yep.
Ben played his 3rd idol in a row. Imagine that, y'all. And Devin tells us also that he potentially just won the game with his vote to save himself.
Was it $1 million move?
That got me in the final 3 because we're going to get Ben next. There can't be another
idol. I like
idol.
how Chrissy and Ryan were giving Devin a little bit of a hard time because Devin was shocked that his name had come up on a vote. And they both said, well, welcome to the club.
Yep.
Ben's curious, so he's quizzing Ryan. How does this fit? How many idols I've played? Where does that fit in the Survivor history? And Ryan assures him that it's a first.
And Chrissy's very frustrated because she just can't get Ben out.
Yeah, Ben tells us that he has to win tomorrow, though.
And there's going to be a twist tomorrow. And even though Chrissy won the twist, I'm not sure that it benefited her at all. It was just a twist.
So Ben does his usual thing. He goes to get water. And again, they're not following him, not checking on anything.
Well, for sure they can't play an idol after the final 5. So now I can finally
Maybe they're
understand
safe.
why they don't do that. But
I don't know.
that didn't
He's still
excuse them
looking.
before.
He's not giving up.
Is there another advantage? Anything at all?
Something that might have been missed in the early game.
Okay. Day 38, final 4 immunity challenge. The last one.
Yeah.
You got to stack the letter blocks on a platform spelling heroes, healers, and hustlers.
Ben's giving Chrissy the stink eye when she came back from returning the individual immunity idol that last time.
Okay, if you say so.
What'd you think of this? Balancing the blocks on the unstable platform and then having to lock the platform in.
It was a good challenge. I thought it was difficult.
I guess so. Yeah.
You know,
for a late game challenge to require that kind of dexterity.
Oh, yeah. It looked really hard.
Yeah, so we didn't get the big, gigantic challenge. It's really huge, which requires an overhead view from the helicopter to see it all kind of thing. No big maze or anything where they got to go all out. But I guess this went pretty well. It ended up giving us some really great drama for sure.
That it did. I was screaming a bit.
Yeah. Definitely got tense during this one.
I was pretty tense from here on out, actually.
Yep. Probst tells us the winner of the challenge is going to receive the final secret advantage. Now, I just assumed this was cancel out a jury member's vote.
Yeah, we both did.
Yep.
It's that's most likely. Whatever.
All right, so they get to work on this wobbly structure where they've got to transit these wooden blocks over to it. They've got to unhook it or unlock it, place the blocks, and then lock the structure back down and go get the next round of blocks. You could bring one block or you could bring all the blocks for the next word, right?
Well, and both Chrissy and Devin had a heck of a time with this to start with. And what really surprised us after all we'd said about Ryan, it looked like for a minute there he could win this thing.
Yeah, he seemed to be doing really well.
That's as close as he came to anything else.
Yep.
To winning.
He was neck and neck with Ben for a little bit.
Yeah, and both Ryan and Ben were in the lead neck and neck for a little while.
This is when we get the upside down U. Ben thinks he's got it. It's just he's got one letter. He's got the U from Hustlers flipped upside down and
just let him have
it. Doesn't recognize it.
Oh man, that really upset me.
Yeah. Well, it upset Ben too.
I was disappointed.
When it dropped, he lost his composure. I mean, when he was able to see what was wrong pretty quick, but then it dropped and
he just got so flustered he couldn't get that calm back somehow. He just couldn't pull it back around, and
he was celebrating already.
Chrissy, good on her, wins her 4th immunity challenge. Good for Chrissy.
Well, I did want to say that there was just a lot of back and forth. We're skipping over quite a bit of it. Ryan
back and forth
dropped, and then Chrissy came back and dropped, and then Ben dropped. And
yeah, I didn't think
everyone was still in it. Devin drops, and Ben had 2 words, but Chrissy was in the lead. All that. It was really exciting.
It was intense for what it was. It certainly had me very tense, and my stomach wasn't the same until after the finale.
Ben was devastated. He definitely had him crying some tears there of frustration. Chrissy, she's ecstatic, rightly so. Probst tells us she got a big smile after her 4th win. She's tied the record, and he gives her the secret advantage.
And she is unbeatable right now.
Chrissy tells us that the icing on the cake is that Ben will be going home, which seems like the case. All right, back out in the audience with Probst. This time goes over to a mom and her kid and asks the mom what she learned from Chrissy's example. And the mom tells us that it's never too late to rock it. That's what she's learned from Chrissy. And then he has a quick word with a Ben fan, Grant. But Grant's pretty bummed.
Let's face it, Chrissy was
just like
awesome.
Ben.
You got to give her that.
Good comeback.
Yeah,
great
she
comeback.
was awesome.
Keep that composure. Keep working at it. Like Ben said, never give up. So.
Well, and then Ben just seems really down that he was so close so many times, and he feels like he just let his kids' college fund and his retirement just slip away. And he does seem pretty hard on himself.
Yep. Ryan makes a comment about how Ben won't will not be a millionaire.
Well, and then he tells Chrissy, you could be a millionaire.
Yeah.
And she responded with, well, you and Devin could be millionaires.
That's the right response, yeah.
Yep.
So she didn't let that slide. That was good on her. Ben reaches out to Chrissy, and she says, I'll hear you out at Tribal. And then she tells us afterwards in a confessional, no way. She's just saying that. And then we find out what the secret advantage is, and the world turns. Yeah, so she's going to get to cast the only vote to choose a person to sit with her, and the other two have to battle it out in a fire-making challenge for one of them to earn their spot.
Even now, I'm getting all those butterflies back.
In hindsight, it feels like it's all designed to save Ben and keep him in the game, but all this was set up beforehand, so it can't be that way. But I know there's going to be
people that think
there are going to be people who feel that way. I'm sure because it just seems like all this serendipity, everything coming together to keep him alive, keep his game alive.
Well, it worked for me. I loved it. I loved that he had a chance. That's all it gave him, a chance.
I liked her logic, too, about who she wanted to basically send into the fire-making challenge. We had gotten to see Devin make fire. That was the morning before last when they got up. So we know he can make fire. And I liked Devin's response, too. I liked how all this came together, that Devin was going to have to earn his way. I went ahead and stuck with my guy to win. I had Devin to win. I had Ben going out in fourth in this position. So to have it all be placed there and have Devin earn it, I thought would have given him that much better of a story. And I really appreciated how he accepted that and went after it. He didn't see it. It didn't throw him at all. He's got such a great sense of positivity. And so here comes a curve, and he catches it.
Yep. And Ryan sees the irony once again in being saved on day 38 because of his inability to make fire.
Yep. His inability to do most anything in the game, yeah.
You know, usually that would hurt him, but because they want Ben out so badly, then that was a given what she would do.
I like Ryan had the presence of mind to thank her after just a couple of beats there. Mm-hmm. And Devin tells us that, well, he needs to practice.
Well, Chrissy tells him to practice, too. And but what does he do? He breaks the flint, and he said, okay, well, I guess that means
it's a sign.
I shouldn't practice.
Yeah, I shouldn't wear myself out.
He just lay down and rested and sunned himself, and I thought,
You didn't think this was a good read on the events for him.
I didn't.
But I definitely think there was some logic there that he was working from. Because you could do that. You could certainly frustrate yourself. I don't know how many times he had made fire up until then. But we saw him
making fire, so we knew he could.
Yep. Chrissy tells us the game is in Devin's hands. And Probst, we cut to Probst back with the audience, and he tells us about how this brand new twist has set up the ultimate challenge, and that your big takeaway is never give up. Final four, Tribal Council, night 38. Chrissy's got her gloat on. She is smiling awfully big as the jury enters.
And she gets to tell them about her fourth win.
Yeah, how it was an incredible win and a super hard challenge, she tells them. Probst points out Ryan had an early lead, and Ryan responds with, yes, I'll get to replay that over and over in my head forever.
And Ben, too.
Yeah, Ben says that upside down U's going to haunt me for sure. And Chrissy shares the that she has the secret advantage, and that both Ryan and Devin know it, which was a surprise. Know what it is, which was a surprise to Ben. And so she announces that she's taking Ryan to final three, and that Devin and Ben have to duke it out by making fire to decide who will join those two.
And Ben's legs started giddy-upping.
Yep, he was ready to get to getting, wasn't he? Yep, I got that nervous thing in my leg like that.
Yes, you do.
I know exactly what that's like. Ryan tells him that it's a great feeling that he's got, that he's going to get to go to the final tribal council, and it's a chance for him to plead his case.
Yep, and my thought was, not a chance, Ryan.
Devin tells him that he's happy to have his fate in his own hands.
And that he gets to compete.
And Ben's thrilled because he's got a second chance.
And the two warriors can fight it out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and here Devin says, may the best man win.
Yep.
I would have preferred to hear may the best fire maker win or... But, okay. I guess the best man won. Fire challenge.
The best man for the challenge, yeah.
Yep.
So I like that you could see that they both understood what they were dealing with because they started off shaving the magnesium. You can tell someone doesn't usually know what they're doing when they just go right to the sparks. The thing that I didn't see them do is prepare their tinder bundle better. When you're dealing with that kind of situation, one of the things you need to do is take that coconut husk and you need to rough it up. You need some really fine fibers. You want the magnesium to catch the spark and really... The magnesium's great because it flames up so hot. And you really want that magnesium... You have to take care with it because it's very light when you shave it like that, as long as you can get the shavings off. Sometimes that's a struggle, even with a sharp knife, to get that started. But you want like a quarter size pool of those shavings. And the nice thing is that when a spark hits them, they'll go up and they burn really hot. But if you've roughed up your tinder bundle so that it's like fuzzy, there's those fine, like you want dust for that ember to start. And I didn't see either one of them do that, and I think that's why they struggled. If they would have just put a little time into the tinder bundle, they might have seen a better overall result or a quicker result.
Well, they got that, or at least Ben got
because they were both
there
struggling.
Eventually. Yeah, they were both struggling.
They definitely were both struggling. And Devin, I thought, made a good tactical move. He went back to get some more magnesium shavings.
But he never even got a spark that we saw.
No, and the technique there, well, you don't want to be frantic. Ideally, you want to shower sparks, but I got to feel, after watching this over the years, I don't think they get the really good magnesium fire starters. I think they get the cheap ones. But some of that, too, is in your technique. If you hold the knife steady and you pull the flint across the knife, you can get a more controlled direction of the spark, as opposed to trying bringing the knife down to hit the flint like that, because the first thing it's going to do is bounce. But what you really want is the friction, right? You want it to slide over it, and you want to catch the edge of the flat top part of the machete to get the sparks going. So, yep, he had started fire, but a lot of it, I think, was luck in the past. It'll be interesting to ask him a little bit about that, I think, in the interviews tomorrow if we get the chance.
Well, by the time Ben's fire finally burned through that, you would have thought I was at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you were getting vocal, yeah. I had Devin to win because I was playing for points, but I was absolutely excited for Ben to make it to the end, too. So I was with you cheering. This is just a tough one for me because I wanted both of these guys. I was going to be happy either way. I
didn't really, the points are nice, but I was really hoping that for Ben to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I chose the order that I did, because it's what I wanted.
Ben earned the final. That's right. You abandoned Ryan at the critical hour.
Completely.
You did not stay with your USB at all.
Well,
threw him out the window.
We both
went for the sentimental favorite.
We both had him in third.
Yes. Yeah, just because he seemed like such a good choice.
I really didn't think he'd get any votes, so yeah. I was glad that Devin threw him a vote, because if nothing else, it made it a clear second and third place instead of a tie. So definitely excited for the finale there with Ben having a shot at it. And then Jeff brings Devin out, and he gets a standing ovation from the audience. Yeah, Devin tells us that he's getting great feedback from everybody. And he's very happy to be a positive role model. Sorry, Marlon, Sarah. I guess Devin's not a big fan of the man bun. He was very clean cut with that hairstyle. Yeah. And no pirate beard either. Yeah, and he said Ben deserved to be in the final three. So that was... he was a humble guy. Yes, he was. I think that would have actually won him the whole thing if he had been able to make fire and got him a spot there. I think he would have just been viewed so much more positively from the social perspective. And Probst tells us expect to see that final four twist again, where you're going to pick someone to the person who wins immunity at the
last immunity challenge, pick someone to come with them, and the other two fight it out. And I'm all for that. I've always thought that was one of the key principles of Survivor is fire represents life, just like he says, so why not make it about that? You better have that skill from here on out.
Yeah, because it sounds like they might be doing this again.
Ben and Chrissy are enjoying that sunrise. They're down at the beach. Ben tells us that he's going to go make that last mark on the tree for counting off the days. He tells us that it gave him chills to make that day 39 cut.
And Ryan tells us he's the last hustler standing.
He could win, he tells us. Yep, he's going to persuade the jury that he had control the whole time. Yeah. And then he qualifies that with saying, of course, that's not true, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
That's right, and I'm going to make them believe it, but that didn't really work out that way.
Chrissy tells us she threw up at her first challenge and then she won 4 immunities. And that she's an everyday hero. And she wants these other moms to know that they need to believe in themselves. Ben's been going full throttle since day 1. Tonight's going to be a battle, he knows, but he wants to go in humble but confident. And he tells us it's the biggest night of his life. All right, now it's time for the power to shift to the jury in the final tribal council. Sticking with the new format, outwit, outplay, outlast, and they structure the questions that way. Okay, kicking off with outwit.
Desi up first. She congratulates Ben and Chrissy and
turns to Ryan.
Yeah, you got carried, Ryan. And Ryan told him, well, the 7 was his idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay.
We didn't get to see it that way.
And that he had to depend on his social relationship. But Ashley was like, well, you didn't have a social relationship with me.
Never had a strategic conversation with her. She was very specific about that. Yeah.
And but Ryan had an answer for that, too. I used Devin to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And Devin backed that up. I like that the rest of the jury asked Devin and that he did admit that.
Yeah, Devin said until the 7, that was true, which surprised Joe. He credits Ryan as being a puppet master in the way he used Devin at that point.
And he tells Ben, your social game was horrible.
And you too, Chrissy. Ben said, yep, I had a bad social game, especially in regards to you when you brought the Marines into it. But the social game, he tells us, is a new thing to him. So he was learning to be social on the job out there while playing Survivor.
And Chrissy tells us she had a different social game, that she stayed loyal all the way through to her alliance.
Of Ryan and JP.
Yeah, Ryan and JP.
It sounded good until she qualified it with the 2, but yeah. Well, and this is where I started to think, whoa, she's really got some game, because she emphasized how she had made that effort to know each of them. And wow, Joe walked right into this one, right?
He did, and about their personal lives.
Yeah.
He didn't think she knew a thing about his personal life. But
he evidently forgot the conversation they had about divorce. Yeah. So. And
maybe the conversation wasn't with her, but she was listening.
Yeah.
So he was like, well, okay then.
Shut him up, didn't it? Yeah.
You're anti-marriage because of your parents.
Cole wanted some revenge against Ben for Ben labeling him as a thief for the food.
I was like, well, my thought was you earned that.
Yeah, it wasn't just the peanut butter either.
Yeah, no, I think you earned that.
Do you think Ben responded well? Ben lied.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah.
I think he just didn't, he kind of just...
Ryan didn't let Ben off the hook either. Yeah. He said, no, he was way worse than that. He didn't just apologize to you and you guys squared it away. He was absolutely calling you out. Yeah.
And then Ashley pops up and said, Chrissy made connections with people, Ben, you didn't.
And for this, Ashley awards Chrissy the title of genius.
And Ryan's still fighting. He's like, she's just listing facts over there.
Yeah.
And then he and Chrissy kind of get into it.
Yep.
Ryan's making statements that are not factual, and Desi just steps in.
She wasn't having any of it.
Yeah.
Proud of you, but you need to take a step back.
But take a step back. Let's not get... I thought, oh yeah, she schooled him.
She schooled the final three, but Lauren schooled the rest of the jury. She said, yeah, what Desi said goes for all of us. Take a step back. And then she called out for Probst to move along. So we're on to the outplay section. At least that's how the edit looked, right? That she's like, okay, we're done with this outwit and the animosity this seems to be generating.
And Ryan said, well, we're going at each other right now, but we've had a good day. They're just fighting for $1 million right now.
Okay, outplay. How did they respond to the conditions of the game? Cole wants to hear about survival skills because that's what's important to him. And he does acknowledge winning the challenges.
Yeah, Chris.
He's really pointing a finger at Ryan, saying, okay, we know
I think
Ben
he wanted
can build
his
things.
moment, too, because he's like, I'm the only male that won an immunity challenge.
Oh, Cole wants his moment. I see.
Yeah, Cole wanted his moment.
Sure, okay. Yeah, Ryan tries to respond, this is my first time camping, and I didn't want to offend anyone or mess anything up by doing things wrong. Desi wasn't having any of that, right? Desi said, yeah, it was a first for me too, but did not look at it the way you did, Ryan.
I do pageants, dude. That doesn't mean you can't go get water or collect firewood. You don't have to know anything.
Joe tried to help Ryan. He said, tell us about the advantages in the idol. I want to hear that. And that's where Ryan explains how he talks a little bit about the secret advantage, but he really focused on finding that hidden immunity idol and explains why Cole ended up with Chrissy on his back.
It's because Chrissy didn't know. He said, JP saw me. And JP just smiled.
Yeah.
Did he speak? I was trying to remember. What did JP say?
I didn't see him say anything, I don't think. Yeah, pretty much
it just dawned on me that
exactly.
I don't think he said anything.
Yeah, no,
not
that we got to see.
Not that we saw anyway. I don't remember it.
I don't either. But then you can say that about a lot of JP's game.
And Ashley once again gives Chrissy credit for her wins. And Chrissy tells us the story of how she was so upset about the challenges she threw up the first time, which the other teams didn't get to see. Because
according to what we were told in the early interviews.
Yeah, they were not there to see that. But and Lauren also chimes in that she should be very proud, and Joe even calls her Queen Chrissy. But he also says he loves how Ben played too, so he moves along to Ben.
Yep, Ben says idols were my path to the end. Desi wants to know, how did he do that? How could there be four of you, one of him?
Not how did he do that. How did you guys let him do that? And why?
Ben tells us he was always one step ahead, and he gives examples in each particular case.
So Jeff gives them one last opportunity to speak to the jury. Ryan tells us he's been to 13 out of 15 of the tribal councils, and he has formed more bonds and alliances to the end than anyone.
Yeah, his name never came up in all those tribal councils. And then Mike asked him, what have you learned?
I thought he had a good answer.
Yeah, I guess it was a very lightweight answer, but yeah.
No, I thought it was good myself, that he valued the simplicities in life, and I think that is one of the very important things most people talk about realizing out there, is that
it's the struggle and the
their
isolation.
Life and their family.
Yeah.
And
you do anything along those lines, I could certainly echo that experience with my 14-day adventure with Boss for sure. It all brings that home. Anytime you get isolated from the ones that you love and your home and the comforts and the things that are important to you, it really comes rushing in on you what the significance of those things really are. So, yeah. What'd you think about Ben's first response? I put you all on the jury. You were my hurdles.
Yeah. And he had a hand in every one of their. Mm-hmm. And I think that they're gamers enough to appreciate that.
Well,
he had something to do with it.
Actually, they didn't appreciate it. Mike wanted more. He wanted to know, why are you going to be the winner? And Joe said, look, you sound like you're giving up. You need to try a little harder with your answer here, bud.
Fight harder. If you want our vote, give us more.
He tells him, well, after I was labeled a king and after I was labeled a dictator by Chrissy, that he had to fight to stay. He's here for his family, and he's got a message for the vets that there can be happiness And certainly that was a strong, compelling story.
And that he had no alliance. He got himself there. And neither one of the other two could say that.
Right.
Though, I don't know, you got to give some to Chrissy, too, for getting herself there.
Chrissy had a good ending speech, too.
Yeah, I thought so, too.
She made connections. She had that social element without having a trail of destruction behind her. And then she had a great mom story.
And she did good strategically and in the challenges, which neither Ben nor Ryan could say.
Her summary, at least the way it came off with the edit, was just super strong, right? Talking about the moms fighting for their kids and that moms have to be heroes, healers, and hustlers. So she worked the theme of the whole season into her summary.
I loved all of that.
And then the last part, right?
I didn't like the last part.
You can feel proud of me as the winner. I thought that was brilliant.
Of your season.
Yeah, of your season.
I didn't like that. I thought it was a little bit arrogant.
No, I didn't. I've thought a lot of what she did was arrogant. I didn't think that was. I thought that was
maybe it was just me.
Making them feel good about investing in her as the winner.
Feel good about choosing me as your season winner.
I don't know why you're having trouble with that. That's absolutely what. There's no other option for them, for the jury to win. So I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. She is whoever it is going to be their winner. Okay, we find out who Ava cast her vote for.
Ava?
Yeah, wasn't it Ava?
Who's Ava?
The little girl in the audience that Probst asked to write her vote down on an actual voting parchment.
I'm looking at the jury, and you're going, Ava. I'm like, what?
Obviously, there's no one up there named Ava.
Where did you go?
Yep, so Ava cast her vote correctly. She voted for Ben.
Yep. And they show us 3 votes. Lauren, Devin, and Ashley voted for Lauren voted Ben, Devin voted Ryan.
What is Devin doing?
And Ashley voted Chrissy.
I'm not surprised about Ashley. She's just voting because Chrissy was a woman and did well, which... You know, it's on you. You vote. We've seen lots of people make different choices. If you want to vote on gender, I guess go ahead. But I didn't think much of Ashley's game, you know, waking up to play on day 28 to begin with. I think even less after making a gender-based decision. The vote from Devin, though, just stunned me. How he ended up voting for Ryan, I don't get it. I don't know why he thought that made sense. Maybe he was just stunned at that point to be out, and that was what he could do. Oh, well. Get a quick summary of Ryan with his heart beating through his chest, and Ben, whose wife had saved his life after combat. Chrissy, 47, dominated the game, but putting focus back on the family is their goal. We get, he rereads the vote, so they all have 1, and then we see Ben with 2 and Chrissy with 2, and then Ben wins. And he gets that real check.
So we know Devin voted the 1 vote for Ryan. And we know Ashley and somebody else were trying to figure it out. And I thought, must have been JP.
It did not look like a female's writing to me. It looked very simple and crude, like a guy's handwriting.
Well, it was in a heart, though.
Yeah, it was either Cole or JP. Yeah, I think your guess about JP is probably right. It could have been Cole, too. Okay, and then we get a sense of what the reunion show is really going to be like as they recap all of Ben's moves for 5 minutes. All right, celebrate Ben. It was a good win, but...
That's all they did. They didn't really talk to the people except for the little bit they talked to Ryan and Chrissy.
Yeah.
But it was very minimal, even way more than usual. And then they just did it with recaps, which I'm sure made it easier to move the show along and get more of the information through that they wanted. But I don't think I really enjoyed just seeing the recaps. It's like, but I just watched that. It's like when some of the TV shows show you what's coming up next when they go to commercial or they replay
and then they come back from commercial and show what we saw just before they went. Yeah, I don't
know. But
I always think of that as lazy editing, and
I'm sure they had a reason for it, but
so I'll be curious to see what some of the other fans thought. I'm not a fan of recapping like this for sure, because this isn't the only element that they recap with. So that was awesome that given that Ben was the secret holder, Probe surprised him with a secret and brought his buddies out there. And they, like we expected, they got to focus and help get the word out about helping veterans that are struggling with PTSD. So certainly, I expected that, and I thought that went really well. I love the surprise with the guys from his group. So,
and you can find more information on that at www.ptst.va.gov for those who are interested. And, you know, basically from Chrissy, they just basically focused on, she's still focusing mostly on her family, has not gone back to work. And Ryan, you can't prepare for having no food. And I still thought, that whole seeing his heart.
Right.
That's still
his tiny body with his tiny heart beating. Yeah.
And I'm happy that Ben gets a little reunion with his buds. And that's pretty cool. But that's really...
Yeah, we get a few teasers along the way for the next season. And
yeah.
What did you make of the Ghost Island summary?
Well, I think what they were saying is...
Here, I'll read this out. So the graveyard of bad survivor decisions, and it's all new players, and they're out to reverse the curse using the idols that tripped up past players in season 36.
Reverse the worst. So they're going to use the actual idols
or
James's
fake idols.
Yeah, whatever.
Not sure how the fake idol part's going to work.
I can't quite get a visual.
Are they going to really bring back the stick?
Of how
I get the James China idol for sure.
Well, Ozzy did make that stick, you know.
I don't. How are they going to work the shell in? Because these people would not have seen the shell. They filmed right after this group. And so they wouldn't have had the benefit of seeing this season. So Lauren's shell would seem... I don't see how that fits in yet.
I don't know unless they tell them something about it in the paper that they get with it.
Sure, and how it failed.
This is how it was used before or not used, and you have an opportunity to blah blah.
My first reaction to this was, this sounds like a really bad idea. I like Ghost Island. I loved the logo and how that looked, the Memento Mori component there. I love how that's worked in to the season 36 logo. That was great. Not sure what this other part means or if it's going to be anything at all. It's just a little confused. What did you write?
Ghost of Survivor Past.
Okay, because they got a Christmas Scrooge thing going or something. Okay.
So that's just what came to my mind. But I don't really know all that much more about it. But it's new people. It's Survivor. Okay, I'm good to go. I'll just
it's
toss
only
the other out
couple months away.
Yeah, till it gets here and we'll get more information.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna.
I do like that it's new people for sure.
Yeah. It looked like 20 people.
Initially, I thought they're bringing back people who have played before. That was the sense that you got. I know that's going to confuse people, right? Because they're showing all these old events, and you're thinking, they're going to bring James back with the double idol goof, and are they going to bring Reichenbach back? Are we going to see Eric again? No, that's not what they're saying. They're talking about these moments, these idols, these goofs.
Well, Eric and James are sitting at home going, really? Am I never
going to get
away from this?
Yeah. About the time it starts to leave people's memories, they reinforce it.
Bring it back again.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, no.
Okay, so what did you think? The reunion show, I think we're both on the same page, didn't really care for making it a recap show. It didn't feel like
there was a reunion show to me.
We didn't get any interaction. We didn't get to hear any.
I'm okay with it. I don't think. I hated that. I don't feel like that.
I'm conflicted. I thought, wow, don't make the reunion show a recap show. Please don't make this a thing. And then I thought, you know what? I don't know that I wanted a whole lot more from this cast. I feel like I'm done with this cast. And you and I were talking as we were pulling everything together to do our recap, and I asked you, who from this cast do you want to see play again at some point in the future? And your response was exactly the same as mine, although I hadn't shared mine yet.
Nobody.
No, I don't feel that way about any of these folks.
Though I like them. That's not it. It's just like, I just felt like I've seen you play your game.
There's not an Ozzy. There's not a Malcolm. There's not one of these great players in this cast that I wanted more from.
Even though I think both Ben and Chrissy played awesome games, but it doesn't mean I want to recreate anything.
No.
I'm just like, that was awesome. Let's take it for what it was and move on.
I saw everything that I needed to see of them.
But then we're not huge fans of returning seasons, so I can get into that too.
Well, we enjoy them.
People that I really like.
Yeah, we like seeing new people tackle the challenge.
Yeah.
Because it is a different game when you've got returnees.
I like to see new people and especially fans get the opportunity.
Yeah.
To play the game we love.
Yep.
And not, you get 5 or 6 times in eventually.
So I'm not going to try to pin you down on where you think this fits in
I don't ever rate
35, but let's say top half, bottom half. Where would you say this one fit and why?
I don't rate. My memory's not that good to remember. I remember what I felt. And right now, I felt really good.
You got the desired outcome.
The desired outcome. I have the feeling of
the edit
I
supported.
love that season.
I really enjoyed it. I think maybe it's in the top half. So yeah, I think it's probably based on my sheer enjoyment
right now,
of it.
For certain, it was in my.
If I started to enumerate the reasons why I think one season might be better than others, the fact that you might need to consider that you would enjoy seeing someone play again would cause it to be more significant than this one.
Well, you know me, I don't do the whole rating system thing. That's not me. That's just not something that I'm ever going to do, probably. So I don't do that.
Yep. So you
I'm an in the moment kind of girl.
Yep. Certainly, definitely is one way to look at it.
Feels good. I loved it.
We're curious where you think this season ranks, what you thought about the finale and the reunion show. We'd love to have you be part of our last episode of the season, the listener feedback show that we'll pull together on Saturday. And that's the feedback's due Saturday, noon Pacific time. We've got some really quick, easy ways for you to share your thoughts about the season, your favorite players, or the finale, or the reunion show, or rankings, wherever you want to go with it. Just keep it in that 3-minute range. The voicemail line is 206-350-1547. We've got a toll-free version for you if you need it, 844-643-8737. The email, joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. You can always find all this at getsfp.com. We look forward to hearing your thoughts and pulling together that summary. Like I mentioned before, that last listener feedback show is the one that's there. It's the most recent one when people go looking for Survivor in the off season, and that's going to be the one that's at the top of the list on iTunes by default, or the top of our webpage. So we'd love to have your voice be a part of it. And if you don't want your actual voice to be a part, send us a short email, and either Joanne or I will read it into the listener feedback show for you. We've got interviews to do tomorrow. What is it we get? 4th and 5th together, 2nd and 3rd, and then the winner?
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll have 3 more interviews. Hopefully, if everything goes as planned, out for you later tomorrow, and then we'll do the listener feedback show on Saturday. Okay, we got one more little bit of business. How about a JSFL update?
Congratulations. We have a tie in JSFL. Energy 5 and Rob D tied with 129
All right.
points.
Wow.
They both got the order correct, and they both had USB 24.
Yeah, that's what happens
and
a lot of.
Both
I think
started in with the same score of 50. So
yeah, that's when we've had ties in the past, and it usually ends up that way, doesn't it? Good deal.
Okay, and I just made a quick note of how many people chose. There were 109 people who voted for Ben to win.
Makes sense.
65 for Christy, 65
Chrissy.
for Chrissy, 65 for Devin. Mike got 14 and 20 for Ryan. So
All
as
right.
far as the side challengers, congratulations to Drew. He's the winner.
Oh, all right,
with
Drew.
121 points.
Drew had a really good overall score, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
What was it you were saying? If he had gotten the fourth and the fifth right, he would have won the whole thing?
Yeah, he flipped Devin and Mike. But if
Uh-huh.
he'd gotten that right for an added 10 points and he had all his safes,
Way to go,
he
Drew.
would have won the whole shebang.
Yeah. But this means that
But you were close, Drew.
this winning the side challenge means that he gets to decide what song the person who lost the side challenge will need to perform for us.
Okay, I'm going to give the rest of the scores. Nina had 116, Rick with 95, Parker with 84, Iron Dave came in with 80.
Wow. That's impressive. He was in the basement
That's
for
right.
the whole bottom half of the season.
Right, it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, good job, Dave.
Kitty Cat 76, Stacy right in the middle was 75.
Play into the middle.
Yeah. Jody had 70, Brandon 64, Jeremiah 63, Cold Mike 56, Jonathan with 53, and
Dun, dun, dun.
James and Shannon with 47.
Oh, look, you're going to get to perform a song.
I know it. I'm looking forward to that. Mm-hmm. And Drew will be letting us know, hopefully by Saturday,
That would be great if you could do that, Drew.
what song they
Or
will
beforehand.
need to sing
We'll
the
forward it
parody
along to them as soon as possible.
That's right.
Yeah, so we're looking for a song that they can do a parody of. Drew's going to pick a song, and then they'll change the lyrics of the song to be representative of this season, and then they will perform that song.
Yes, and we will
To the
play
best
it
of their
for
ability.
you at the beginning, hopefully by the Jabbick part 2 for next season.
Yeah, if you're really on the ball and you get it done,
Sooner, send it anytime.
yeah, absolutely. Good deal. So, thumbs up on the finale. I'm going to go thumbs down on the reunion show. How about you?
I just go thumbs up.
Okay, thumbs up for both from Joanne. We look forward to hearing your thoughts. Anything else you would like to add?
Nope, just that I enjoyed the season and I'm anxious to hear
Wrap
what
it up.
everybody else. Yeah, I'm anxious to hear what everybody else had to say.
Absolutely. Have a good one.